you have 5 minutes after the meeting? I could pick your brain on something. Thank you. All right.
You got to stay after.
Got to stay after school, Chris. What's that? All right. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:33.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Cartagini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Present.
Councilwoman Selby, will you please lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving right along, we do have a public hearing tonight at 7:35, so we've got a couple minutes. We have no other preliminary matters, so we'll move on to regular business of the town. Item number 1 is the correction and adoption of minutes from the September 15th, 2021, and also the special meeting for September 28th, 2021. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take those items?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I had an opportunity to review both minutes from September 15th and September 28th, 2021. I make no suggestions for edits or changes. I make a motion that we approve minutes September 15th and September 28th, 2021.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartagini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, so 7:35, so we'll move on to the public hearing. So we're going to skip ahead to new business. Item number 2 is the public hearing for the Federal Community Block Grant. I'll take this item, and the public hearing reads as follows. A public hearing will be held on October 6, 2021 at 7:35 p.m. at the Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, regarding the use of federal community development funds in the town of Boston. The town of Boston is eligible for a federal community development grant under Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, as amended. The purpose of the hearing is to provide an opportunity for citizens to express community development and housing needs and to discuss possible projects which would benefit low and moderate income persons within the town of Boston. Citizens are urged to attend this meeting to make their reviews and or written proposals to the town of Boston's selection of potential projects to be submitted for possible funding by the Federal Community Development Grant Program. The hearing will also present a review of prior community development projects and expenditures and a discussion of eligible activities. The meeting room is wheelchair accessible. Those needing special arrangements should call the Town of Boston Town Hall at the Town Hall phone number 716-941-6113. And this was dated October 1st, 2021. It was published September 24th, 2021. And this was by the order of the town board. I will open the floor for any public comment on the public hearing. No comment. Okay, I will close the floor. No, there's no public comment, so we'll go right back to our regular business. All right, item number 2 under regular business is the consideration of all fund bills. Councilman Cartagini, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I've reviewed the list of fund bills, and I make a motion that we adopt them as written in the amount of $117,204.20.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartagini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, moving on to item number 3 for correspondence. We have 2 items of correspondence. Actually, there's a little bit of a change when the agenda was put together at the last minute, but there's a Boston Emergency Services proclamation that was going to be presented tonight. They actually forgot about a meeting that they had. So this proclamation will be presented at a later date, but it will be received and filed as part of the town correspondence. And then also the New York State mandated training, and that has been received and filed as town correspondence. Moving on to item number 4, which is new business, is requests from the floor. So I will open the floor for any open comment. Please state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Jay Jackson, 7964 Back Creek Road. I am very glad to see our legislator Mills here this evening. My specific question is are funds allocated in the county capital budget for 2021 and 2022 for the repair of the slide on Back Creek Road. Thank you.
All right. Without any further comment, Legislator Mills, if you'd like to come up, you're certainly welcome. Thank you for coming out tonight. Yep.
Good evening. It's good to be here again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's been a pretty crazy year this year. Got a lot of good public works projects were completed in my district, which is pretty good considering the size of my district. So I want to give a little shout out to Commissioner of Public Works, Bill Gary. He's been real good about getting things done for me. But let's talk about Back Creek Road a second. There's two roads that I drive when I come to a board meeting. Zor Valley, I take that from Springville to Gowanda and stop off at the town board meeting in town of Collins. Then I take a lovely ride on Back Creek Road, and just to see the damage and how third world road looks like. So, having said that, the update on Back Creek Road is as follows. The county is planning for a 2022 total construction and will proceed with the bidding process. The holdup has been the right of way by a resident, and they reached an agreement on the right of way, so that's done. So it's fully funded, and I believe the slide is also fully funded. But the road, I guess in order to repair the road, you can fix the slide, right? So that'll be done, and I'll stay on top of that. Everything else in the town of Boston, they're just doing routine maintenance, ditching and things like that. Now I did patch some of the road in Back Creek for my lovely 100-year-old woman. I think of her last name again, but her maiden name is Rucker. And I presented a 100th anniversary or birthday proclamations. You also did that, Jason.
Yes.
So, and for some reason, they thought because we had gotten the proclamation to her, that's why they started to patch the road in front of her house. So, whatever makes it work. So our neighbors were calling her, thanking her
If it works, it works.
for
For her.
cornering
That's
you
work.
and me.
So
Oh,
would that be a birthday present?
right? Oh, that's cute.
But she's a remarkable lady. I can tell you that she is a remarkable lady, and she drinks a certain kind of a Scotch Manhattan. And I was giving her a proclamation. I said, "Boy, how is that for you? Is it good for you?" She says, "Here, take a taste." So I did. It's
Actively
pretty
plays-
strong stuff.
Yeah,
So,
actively plays golf too.
yeah, and drives a car on Back Creek Road, which puts her in A1. It's like the old saying that Sheriff Howard used to tell me before we did the patching the 10 miles on the Boston Springville Road. He said you knew when someone was driving drunk because they drive straight down the road instead of going
Nice.
avoiding bumps and potholes in the road. Anyway, so good news in the 2022 budget by the county executive, my buddy. And he says to us, he says, well, we're going to put between 47 and 52 million into the 2022 budget for roads, infrastructure, ditching, culverts, bridges. Now that's wonderful. But every year since he's been county executive, he puts out X amount of dollars. And for some reason, before we can get it all done, every year, the blacktop plants close. And we're always short $5-10 million worth of repairs. So that's goes into the following budget. So I don't know if that's creative accounting, voodoo economics, I don't know what you want to call it, but hopefully we can put enough pressure on the county executive to allow all 47 to 52 million dollars to be spent on infrastructure. And if that happens, we're going to be in pretty good shape. And also for our parks department, $6 million been put aside for parks, which is unheard of. Usually it's somewhere around 2 million. So that's the good news. Assuming they can come through with it. Some of the highlights of the budget the county executive put out was raise spending. Well, if he would have decreased spending, I would have been shocked and probably had a heart attack. But he's raising spending, adding more jobs, a couple of commissioners that we do not have in some kind of position he's creating. Well, it's spend. So as your legislator, I have to make sure I can keep his feet to the fire in spending. But unfortunately, I only have 3 other gentlemen on the legislature that kind of agree with my philosophy on government, and conservative philosophy. And the taxpayers are the boss, and they want their spending kept at a reasonable amount of money. So it's nice that we got $169 million from the federal government. Isn't that wonderful? But we shouldn't have to spend it in places where we don't have to spend it, and we need to save more money. So we're going to put that on our agenda for the next couple of months for the budget process. Let's see. That's it. So there's some good news, a little bit of unsettled news there, but I hope that everyone here has had a safe summer, a safe year so far, because it's been a challenge. I know last year was kind of, you don't know if you're up or down, but now with the vaccination rate going up, we're enjoying a little more normality to our lives, but still a challenge, but we still have to get the work done. And you guys do and girls do a great job out there in the town of Boston. I want to tell you, I hear a lot of good things about the board, and our highway superintendent, Mr. Telak. I heard a lot of good things about you this year also. So I want to spread the wealth around, but truly it comes from the heart. So any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With no other comment, I will close the floor. Okay, moving right along. Item number 3 under new business is to appoint a zoning board of appeals chairwoman or chair. Shouldn't let the horse out of the gate there. Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take that item tonight?
Absolutely, Supervisor. We've come to a consensus with the town board in only one person actually stepped forward to replace Kathy Projacolo, the former chairwoman. I make a motion to appoint Lisa Rude as zoning board of appeals chair for the time for her Kathy Projacolo's remaining few months up until January 1.
I second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 4 is to appoint a town prosecutor. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Sure. I would like to make a motion to appoint Town Prosecutor Kyle Calabrese for the Town Prosecutor position for the time period through the end of this year. Is that correct, Sandy? Through
That is-
December
Yes,
31st.
that is correct.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
A yes, but that is also an counsel to the ZBA. So appointing the town prosecutor and as the counsel to the ZBA. And then that would be a yes.
okay, thank you. And Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Moving along to item number 5 is approval for Kenneth Heary Sr. and Molly, I hope I'm pronouncing the last name correctly, Kruska.
Krushka.
Kruska. Okay, I was close. Thank you. To begin duty as a Boston Volunteer Fire Company firefighter. And Councilman Cardicchini, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. We received a letter from Ed Kane of the Boston Fire Company that Kenneth Heary Sr. and Molly Krushka have met the requirements and have been voted in to become active members of the Boston Fire Company. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint these people and approve their service.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 6 is an application for use of meeting facility for the budget presentation. I'll take this item. So we have submitted a use of meeting, or I'd like to make a motion. There's a use of meeting facility application submitted for next Wednesday, October 13th, 2021 at 7 p.m. for the 2022 budget presentation. It's going to be in the town hall community room without the kitchen. And I'd like to make a motion to approve that use of meeting facility.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 7 is an application for use of meeting facility for Connect Life. And Councilwoman Lukajek, would you like to take that item?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Barbara Moore had submitted a application for the use of town meeting room, the town hall community room, without the kitchen. She submitted a number of dates to use that room. Town clerk, are they available for the times that she's looking from 1 to 7:45 p.m. for the Connect Life blood drives?
Yes, they are.
Thank you very much. I make a motion that we approve the Connect Life blood drives application for Barbara Moore.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, moving right along. We have another application for use of meeting facility for the Boston Patriots football and cheerleaders. Actually, this particular use facility was actually we had pre-approved it, but we're going to formally approve it here at the town board meeting tonight. Councilman Cardicini, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. The Boston Patriots football and cheer, Ray Gamolka is the commissioner. He has put in the application for the town hall community room without kitchen, approximate groups of 20 to 1 at a time, groups of 6. This is for photos for players and cheerleaders. The date is October 4th, 5 to 8:30 p.m. This is already passed. I know that it was available. So I make a motion that we approve this.
Second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 9 and 10 are similar, so I'm going to put those together. But there's two items tonight: a Boston Hills Homes and Estates license approval, and then also for the Sprague Mobile Home Park license approval.
Sprague.
Or Sprague, sorry. Yes, thank you. And Councilwoman Martin, would you like to take those 2 items?
Sure, Supervisor. Bill Ferguson, our code enforcement officer, inspected both the Boston Hills Homes and Estates and the Sprague Mobile Home Park and found no code violations. So I make a motion to approve their issuance of licenses for those homes and estates.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 11 under new business is Resolution 2021-55, awarding the bid for the salt barn roof replacement for the highway barn. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I would like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-55, whereas the Jameson Roofing Company submitted a sole bid for the required work for project totaling $62,931 so that we can repair or award replacement of the salt barn roof as stated. I'd like to make this a motion, please.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 12 is Resolution 2021-56 for Maplewood Cemetery. And Councilwoman Lukashek, would you like to take that item tonight?
Yes, I would. Due to some windstorms over the past number of months that caused thousands of dollars of damage to trees and foliage, leaves, in the Maplewood Cemetery located on Boston State Road across from the town hall. According to the town law, section 165-A allows municipalities to provide funding, goods, and/or services to public cemeteries as defined by the not-for-profit corporate law. So I make a motion that the resolution number 2021-56 approves the contribution to the Maplewood Cemetery in the amount of $4,000 and 10 wooden chairs that they can auction off as a fundraiser. I make a motion, we approve.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 13 under new business tonight is resolution 2021-57 for a water district consolidation study. I'll take that one. Okay, so boy, oh boy, where do we
Where do
start
you
with
start?
water, right? Okay, so a water district consolidation study. I'd like to make a motion to approve water district 2021-57 for a water district consolidation study. Basically, there's a lot of information here, but the Erie County Water Authority is recommending over $10.4 million in improvements to the water system for the town of Boston and the pump station, in addition to the cost to rehabilitate 3 water storage tanks estimated at $1,825,000. And then we're also looking at doing additional water line improvements throughout the community. The proposal is coming in for a water district consolidation study at a total of $23,000. I'd like to make a motion to approve this study to try to the intent of this resolution. I'm going a little bit off the language that's here, but we have 3 water districts in the community, respective extension in those water districts, and if with this consolidation opportunity, that will help the overall project costs go lower because that cost can be spread out amongst multiple homes versus a smaller, denser area. So we're trying to manage the overall debt of this $10.4 million in improvements to the best of our ability. And so I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2021-57.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukashik,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we have no other old business tonight, so we'll move right along to reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. Brush pickup started October 1st for the last time of the year. We'll do every road in town one time. So pretty much the valley's been done since October 1st. So now we got to do the west hill, the east hill, and that'll take care of brush. The highway department has a lot of wood chips. If anybody in town looking for wood chips, we have wood chips. We also have fill. The last few weeks before brush started, the men have been out working on the right-of-ways, cutting down all the dead trees that are along the roads. There's several ash trees and pine trees. There's a lot of trees that were dying along the roads. They were cutting them down. We were doing shoulder work along the side of the roads. Since we're out of money for road work and drainage work, shoulder work really doesn't cost too much money just to fix the shoulders and dig the ditches out. So we were doing that. Anybody that lives on a town road in the subdivisions, if they'd like their ditches cleaned out, we'd be glad to do it, but we don't usually go into subdivisions and clean ditches because most people like to fill them in, not clean them out. So that's about that. As far as the town roads, all the town roads, if you drive around on any of the roads that the town of Boston actually owns, they're in excellent shape. We don't have a pothole on any one of our roads. It's nice to see Mr. Mills here tonight, and I do have a couple things for him. I was wondering if you could talk to Joe Domlin in the Hamburg district as far as the pipe that crosses under Boston State Road at the intersection of Hillcroft. We had a sinkhole on the lower end of the road. I mean, the pipe, the guys went down, the pipe is totally rotted out. The pipe is in really bad shape, and if that pipe collapses, that whole subdivision above Boston State on the east side of the road will have a lot of issues. So that pipe definitely has got to be put on the list to be changed real soon. Another thing is the resident that lives at the bottom of Rice Road and Fedek Road, he's been asking me for 2 years for another stop sign on each side of the road at the bottom of Rice Road and Fedek. There's several accidents there. Not a big thing. And I asked Joe about the stop sign. He says, well, we got to do a study and this and that. And it's been 2 years and there's still no stop sign there. But if you could put the pressure on them for them 2 things, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
Thank you. I would like to extend a thank you to Legislator Mills for coming out tonight and giving us that update. I've been getting many questions about Back Creek, and it's great to finally have an answer. and, you know, a time frame on that. And thank you for your diligence and pushing forward on that. We're really looking forward to getting that road fixed, especially being by the school. You know, we just need that fixed for safety of the kids as well. I'd also like to encourage everybody, if they could, to come out next week on October 13th at 7 o'clock, where the supervisor and his budget director, Ellie, have put together a great budget presentation. I'm really looking forward to that, being near and dear to my heart as being former budget director. They do a fantastic job, and I want to thank them for all the work they put in. It's a lot of details, and if you like that kind of stuff, go for it. The taxes are going down, and I commend them on doing a fantastic job with the budget this year.
Thank you.
That is all I have right now.
All right, Councilman Cardicchini, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. Also like to thank Legislator Mills for being here. We certainly understand what you're up against in the county level, and we appreciate all the good fights that you put on. You do a great job representing us down here in the South Towns, and we're grateful to have you. I'd like to welcome the newest members of the Boston Volunteer Fire Company. I've said many times that that's a great way to get involved in the community. We've had a lot of homes that have sold in recent years, and it's a great way to get out and serve your community, get to know new people, you know, certainly for a worthy cause. And lastly, I received a phone call last week from a concerned resident about our special meeting that we held. And it was a very simple meeting. It took, I don't even think 5 minutes by the time we said the pledge and got sworn in, but I wanted to make it 1 minute and 30 seconds. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. I wanted to make sure everybody was aware that that meeting was solely to file the preliminary budget with the town clerk, and we're required by law to formally file it. And that was the nature of the meeting. So I wanted to make sure that was clear for everybody. I know there's people that watch the video of the meeting and that may not follow up with the minutes, but that was a simple filing of the preliminary budget with the town clerk. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Lukacek, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Right now, the planning board's normal meeting for October 12th, they're trying to determine quorum right now. So as soon as they determine a quorum, they'll be posting whether they'll be able to have a meeting or if it will be canceled. And I learned ZBA is holding their meeting this month, tomorrow, actually. And that's actually all I have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Martin, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor. I'd like to welcome Kyle Calabrese as our new town prosecutor for the interim and also the ZBA council. I'm putting a thank you to Lisa Root for stepping up to the ZBA chair. I'm looking forward to working with her starting tomorrow. The resolution that we approved for Maplewood Cemetery, the 10 chairs for a fundraiser, just to give everybody an idea of what's planned for that. I'm assisting the Maplewood Cemetery with that and getting it off the ground. And what we're doing is we're taking the community room chairs that are being replaced, and we're setting aside 10 of them, getting them to local artists. If anybody knows of any, reach out to me through the town. They're going to be painted, decorated, decoupaged, however, and then they're going to be raffled off, and the proceeds from that raffle session will be donated to the Maplewood Cemetery. Our leaf event with the photo contest with the Beauty of Boston, we counted up the votes, and the 3 top prizes went to, we labeled them ourselves because the photographers did not label them. So the number one, the top picture is called Sunrise in the Mist. It's a beautiful picture. And just so you're aware, all 3 of them will be displayed in our, what is that called? Our display case in the front hall. The number 2 prize went to Double Rainbow. I think that was actually Lila Worley took that picture. And Birds in Snow, which I don't know who that photographer was. So they're all very beautiful, and we're going to be blowing them up and framing them and placing them in the display case. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Keating. Code enforcement officers' reports for August 2021 have been received and filed in the clerk's office. September brought in many hunters and fishers. So we had a total of 138 come through for the month of September. So we were certainly busy with that, and it's great to see them getting out right now and enjoying the nice weather. Connect Life saved 48 patients, possible saved lives of 48 patients. That was from our last blood drive of September 21st. There is another blood drive coming up in the community room from 2 to 7 on October 21st. We do have some events going on, for this weekend coming up. The Churchill United Methodist Church will be having their fish fry on Friday from 4:30 until 7. That is takeout only, and you can pre-order by calling Mike at 336-9000, and the cost of those meals are $12. And on Sunday is the St. John Roman Catholic Church will be holding their turkey dinner. That is a drive-through also for $13. There is something special that is going on with Memory Cafe. That is a gathering place for caregivers and loved ones to be able to relax and socialize and enjoy a meal and have some music. And there's 2 concert series for that on October 13th at Patchen Fire Hall from noon to 1, and October 19th at the Amherst Senior Center from 2 to 3. And Sun King will be holding a electronic recycling event that is on October 16th. You do need to register for that event through Sun King. The last we looked, there was still availability. So that will be, that's taking place. And also, I would just want to thank Legislator Mills and Nancy for coming out tonight. They provide us with many complimentary pamphlets that we have here in our town hall that you'll see in the foyer and also in the clerk's office. So there is fishing maps that they provide, the Yellow Dot program, and there's just several things that affect us here and programs that Erie County has. So just wanted to thank them, and that is all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. As everybody else has said, I'll certainly echo that. Thank you, Legislator Mills, for your time tonight, coming out and giving us some updates. Certainly appreciate that as always, especially now we can meet in person. Now we're getting back to some sort of new normalcy. Budget presentation again is next week, 7 p.m. downstairs in the community room. Councilwoman Selby, said it best. We put a lot of work into this budget this year. There's American Rescue Plan funds that are taken into account. We've got a lot of water projects going on. The forecast budgeting has really allowed this board to really do a deep dive into the data and make sure that we've got a pretty wholesome budget. I do think I'm pretty confident that most people will be pretty happy with what they see. Segueing right off of that, one of the things I will say that is in that budget, Waste Management has kind of given us this okay kind of preliminary to start talking about it. It's not official yet. We haven't signed anything. But electronics waste, household hazardous waste, that's always been an ask in the community, even back when I was a councilman. And Erie County has been doing a lot of work through environment and planning. I sit on the NEST board. There's some things in the works. What we've identified is that for those events that they're limited to 400 people, approximately, give or take, depending on the size of the event, et cetera. Some folks have expressed concern that by the time they get home from work or hear about it the day after, that event's already been booked. So as a town, again, so the world of social media, there's been some TV concerns, some computer concerns, I'll say. But anyway, Waste Management has a program called At Your Door. There's been a little bit of talk about it in Southern Tier, but if as long as everything goes through as the budget, the tentative budget is planned, we are looking at bringing a service to the community called At Your Door. It will be household hazardous waste and e-waste collection that is available to every single resident at any time. So you essentially would call a 1-800 number. You would let them know what you have, a computer, a TV, what have you. Paint, latex paint can be thrown out, but the oil-based paints, motor oil, there's an extensive list there. Again, more information will be coming out on this, but we've been working with Waste Management actually for a couple of years now on this program. They had to go through DEC and permitting, but this is something that's real. I'm actually very happy to say that it's here. Boston is one of actually 3 communities that are kind of spearheading this and the kind of the pioneers. It is being used in other states, but New York State DEC regulations is what's created some of the hurdles. But we're very happy to bring it to the town of Boston. I think it'll be a great solution. So when you're cleaning out your garage, your barn, or change. I shouldn't say snow, but when you're changing the oil in your snowblower, getting ready for the snow season, that oil, you don't have to take it down to any automotive shop. You can actually call up this 800 number, leave that at your house. But traditionally, by the time you get home, it's going to be picked up and gone. So a lot of details coming out there. Again, we're in the early days of the budget. Things can change, but this is something that's been talked about in other communities. Boston has been referenced, so now officially I'll toss it out there that Boston has been working with 2 other communities close by on this project, and I think the residents will be very happy at this service. I'll go into the water. Actually, I'm going to touch base on Connect Life. Our town clerk has done a lot of work on Connect Life. Jamie and the crew from Connect Life always give the accolades to the town clerk's office in the town of Boston. We are actually literally setting a trend for Connect Life that we save more lives, we collect more blood. Our processes, our systems, everything from the town clerk's documentation for these facilities, they pick Boston because of what we have in place. So, it's a great system. I thank our town clerk for that. Jamie certainly thanks you for that. And that's actually been so successful that the community will start to see a larger sign over at the signs over by where you see the fishing derby signs, the 4x8 signs. Connect Life will be putting a sign out there at some point. It's actually become that big of an event. So, kudos to our town clerk and the town board for that. It's a great opportunity there. And thank you. Yes. And also Barbara Moore. She also does a lot of behind the scenes orchestration of that. And that actually has been doing that for many years. So now I'll move on to the topic of water. There's been some phone calls as a town board. We've been talking a lot about water. We've been talking about it a lot more with the 2 recent breaks in the boil water advisory that Boston went under. On record, so everybody hears the same message. So the first water main break on Patchen Road that happened was approximately a 10-foot long lateral break that happened on Patchen Road. By the time where the break was identified, called in, reported, and water was turned off, the reason why essentially everyone from just about Churchill south and even into Colden basically drained the entire system is what happened there. So when people were asking what happened, why do I have no water, not even low water pressure, it drained the entire system. Water One, when it was designed, is teed off with a lot of dead ends. This will be talked about in budget presentations. I wish this wasn't happening, but for the foreseeable future, we're going to be talking a lot about water. Water main 1 goes right down Boston State Road, and there's a lot of dead ends. And what happened essentially acted like the siphon, drained the entire system. It leaked that much water. It was pressurized by one of the tanks over on Trevitt, which of course created the back pressure, if you will, and lowered that whole system. After that had happened, the repair was made, and then this was probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when I received the next phone call that the water was reintroduced, and then we had the break shortly thereafter on Boston State Road, another sizable break on Boston State Road. It's one of those scenarios you can't make these stories up, but because of the amount of oxygen that was left in the water, they have to test it at least twice. There's EPA regulations and other things, but the Erie County Water Authority did a great job. They tested, and that's why we went under a boil water advisory. Again, I'm answering this just because of feedback that was on social media. Some of the things that are out there were not accurate, and I want to clear the air of any inaccurate information. The information that came from Erie County Water Authority is structured in a way, because we are what's called a least managed water district. Any of that communication, billing, repairs, et cetera, is all handled by the Erie County Water Authority. When the Code Red all call went out to all the municipal residents, that was because the town was asked to make that phone call. Truthfully, we are traditionally not notified of breaks. We usually find out about them from when the resident calls up and says, hey, I've got no water, or I have a water problem. That's how the town truly finds out. Because the town is the responsibility in least managed water district is that the town is responsible for improvements, and then also the debt and managing that debt of taking on those improvements. So the communication on social media, town website, et cetera, that was all passed along as soon as as quickly as we could receive it from Erie County Water Authority. That information was spread out to the community. But there are we're doing our due diligence. We were working on a 3-phased approach to all the water line projects that need to be handled throughout the community. Water One needs the most amount of repairs. If you go out to the Town of Boston website, if you go out There's a link out there for all the water projects. You'll see a list that was provided by Erie County Water Authority to the town of Boston with high, medium, and low priority areas. So we've been working with the municipal engineer to make best use of time, money, resources, et cetera, to instead of having a contractor move from one end of town over to the other, we're trying to kind of cluster those. And then, and again, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. That's kind of high level what happened there. I certainly apologize for any inconveniences there. But that's essentially how that communication flows. That's really, a lot of that falls back on the Erie County Water Authority. So anyway, hopefully that clears the air. Anyone has any questions, they can always call my office. I'm happy to sit down and spend some time because I've been talking a lot about water over the past almost year and a half. And unfortunately, we're dealing with some pretty sizable breaks. And I'm hoping to be much more proactive and fix those scenarios so we don't we're not without water like we were just recently were. Outside of that, that's all I have tonight. Thank you very much. Again, thank you, Legislator Mills, for your time and coming out tonight. Great to see you. And I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
You, Bob.